Welcome, this is Trinity Gaia In this series, we will be taking a journey through each card in the Divine Masculine Healing Oracle deck by Christabel Jessica, and the artwork is by Cecilia G.F. Today, we will be taking a deeper look into Anubis. Strive toward a return to balance, but enjoy your time in the extremes. Contrast provides you with a profound enhancement of the experience. The jackal-headed god of the dead, Anubis, is an ancient Egyptian deity associated with perfection, mummification, and the afterlife. His name in the original Egyptian language was Inpu, which inferred decay. He is well known for his role in the judgment of souls in the Hall of Truth. During the judgment of the dead, Anubis would place the heart of the recently deceased on the scale of justice, balancing it against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the deceased would be deemed worthy of entering the afterlife. If heavier, their soul would be devoured by the demon goddess Amut. Anubis's message. Imagine the exquisite feeling of eating a burger after a week of only eating jelly because you had your wisdom teeth out. The pure bliss of sleeping in your own bed after a wild weekend of camping in the bush. The ecstasy of a hot shower after a cold walk hot out in the rain. Contrast is where life exists. Contrast deepens, stretches, and builds. Being out of balance is necessary and good for us. Returning to homeostasis is integral for the health of your system. Nevertheless, times out of balance are integral for living. So much living occurs through periods in the extremes. The most memorable moments in life tend to happen when the pendulum has swung from one side to the other. The light and shadow, the masculine and feminine, action and rest, all live outside the restraints of balance. Peaceful bliss is found in the center. Although drawn out for too long, it turns from peace to stagnation. You will naturally be attuned to when your nervous system requires you to err towards equilibrium. Learn to stay in the present moment and tune in with your body, emotions, and needs. This will help you become a pro at knowing when and how to bring yourself back to harmony. Working on self-worth will give you the desire to look after yourself, knowing you deserve to have your needs met. Balance can often be found through the energy opposite to that you have mostly been in. If you feel out of whack, look to the other side. If you've been doing lots of shadow work, seek some levity. If you've been resting a lot and feel a state of atrophy, return to action. If you were completely balanced in each moment, you would be bored with no growth, transformation, or experiences. Contract and expand rather than just seek equilibrium. Similar to a rubber band shooting forward after being flung backward, you can experience benefits from times of contraction. Swing forth on the pendulum of life, enjoying the highs and the lows, the ebbs and the flows, and recognize the areas that would benefit from some peace. Swing forth on the pendulum of life, enjoying the highs, the lows, the ebbs and the flows, and recognize the areas that would benefit from finding some peace. Moving into reading the card of Anubis in this oracle deck. There is so much symbolism within this card that it is, at times, it can definitely feel overwhelming because it all wants to come at once. But Anubis himself is the center of this. He is part of everything there. If you really look at him, from his face expression, from his body language, from how he's seated, he does not take this responsibility lightly. He takes it very seriously. He knows that he can do great good and he could do great evil if he does not take that time to really observe and allow the information that is hidden, that is static, that is underneath masks, the shadow work that the soul coming to him to make this decision about, that they hadn't done. He gets to remove those layers of decay to the core of the truth. And he takes that very, very seriously. You'll also notice that he is wearing an ankh, the symbol of reincarnation. He's aware that the lives that the souls that he takes all this information in for, if he is thorough with that, he can have confidence and be rest assured that if that soul gets to go to the afterlife and be reincarnated, that they may very well have the chance to be more than they were in this life or contribute in a positive way. But if he doesn't take that time to really be thorough, he could be judging a soul to be worthy of the afterlife and not be recycled, not be devoured by the demon goddess, Amut. He takes that very seriously, because if a soul that should go to be devoured by the demon goddess Amut goes to the afterlife, they get to be reincarnated. And everything that they do, everyone that they impact, he has this very strong awareness of he is somewhatly responsible because of that decision, that he didn't see something. He is very muchly in this deck, I would say he is probably the judgment card. Easily he's the judgment card. It's imperative for him to be balanced when he makes any decision. And that means he needs to know both sides. He needs to understand contrast just as much as he needs to understand the center. He needs to be able to see himself in every soul that he encounters, every soul that he judges. It's almost as though he lives their life with them. In order to fully make a decision and pass judgment, he would have to feel that he overturned every rock, looked under every stone to make that decision. There is a scale present, and it may definitely be a sync for some of you tuning in if you are yourself a Libra, or if you know another person that this is identifying or syncing with for you that is a Libra. There's also his wand, his staff. Very strong King of Wands energy here. He's trusted to exercise his will. And it's not lost that he is on a throne, and that there is those wings up behind him. He has earned this position, and there's a responsibility that comes with that. There seems to be steps leading up to him as well. So in some decks, the stairway to heaven, right? That synchronicity is here. He passes judgment, yes, but he's not on that throne because he hasn't done all of the shadow work himself. He's done all of this work to be able to be knowledgeable enough to look through other souls' lives and know from his own that he can say, yes, this is this, and no, it is not this, it is this. The symbol of the two, the heart and the feather being weighed. The feather is a symbol of, like knowledge, wind, rising above, love, light, purity, being that it is a white feather. And you would think that that feather would be physically lighter than the heart. However, this is not about the physical. This is about the spiritual. So what these mean to you is what is actually being weighed. In your heart, how much have you loved? How much have you loved yourself so that you could love others in a pure way, a present of I am giving you my best self to have the best possible co-creating experience with you and with those around me. If you love yourself, you can bring your higher self more and more and more to everything that you interact with and every dynamic and every person. And then when you're at that point of interacting with others, that's when you have a really powerful ripple effect. Now, if you're in a position in your life where you're in one of those swings of contrast, where say you have not a lot to really give, you're in a, outwardly appearing, you're in a position of poverty, of lack, and yet you still give. That decision, when you don't have really much yourself to give anyway, spiritually, energetically, karmically, that holds more weight than when you have plenty and you give a little. Or you have plenty and you give a lot, but you still have plenty. You have an abundance. When you are in lack and you give anyway, that holds great spiritual weight, which would mean that that feather and that heart would be light. Both of them would be light. You would be elevated. So if you're at a point where your heart, you feel like it would be heavier than the feather, that it wouldn't have, your karma at this moment isn't light enough to elevate that heart to where it would allow you to enter the afterlife. You can make different decisions. Oh my gosh. As you're encountering this reading in this moment, wherever you feel that you are with the balancing of the scale of the feather and the heart, if you feel that your heart may be heavier than you'd like it to be, if you were to encounter this judgment today, because we never really know how much time we have. We never really do. So if you are in that position right now, this may be an opportunity that has been brought to you for you to digest, ask yourself some questions and figure out how you feel about this. How would you like to start making some changes so that you don't feel like that? Because you can always start having a positive impact on the world around you. However small you begin or you perceive to be small, the concept that you're at a position of extreme, of contrast, where you could even begin to start to try, that decision is huge. Then if you start small and you start to build and build and build until you realize that, what was really hard for you to do initially isn't so hard now because you know yourself more in a state of harmony. You recognize that you were not necessarily balanced, but now you know who you are when you are. The decision point to swing that pendulum back to center, it is free will. And that choice carries weight. Do not underestimate the power of that choice. Then it's sticking to it. Then it's continuing to work with it. And when you come to this position, you will know that there is this weight of responsibility when it comes to looking at your life and judging it. It is not from a position of power. It is from compassionate and humble state of responsibility of, if you were me, this is what I would want someone to do, how I would want them to look. I would want them to investigate everything that was hidden, even from me in my life. I would want them to weigh those things that I didn't necessarily know were affecting me. You could know that when you get here, that this individual will take that role very seriously. In your own lives, how do you identify as the judge? And are you wanting to see all sides? Or are you closing your mind because of hurts or traumas, because you yourself have masks? You yourself have a subconscious, and you have some shadow work and healing to do. It's why you've incarnated. So while needing to do that shadow work in your own life, to heal the traumas, to heal the things about you that allow separation to exist between you and others around you, warping your perception, keeping you in a state of being biased. When you are in a position of weighing someone's truth and knowing that you could hurt their heart, knowing that you could harm them, or you can treat them with this concept of, look, I've actually really, really looked at this, and this is where I'm at. This is what I'm thinking. That is respect. That is respect for yourself. That is not a negative karma. That is positive karma. It is you giving your truth. Especially if you are aware that you had to look through some of the lenses that you realized you viewed the world through that were keeping you biased, that they were warping your perception of what was actually going on and the intentions and the heart of those around you. This is a challenge that we all struggle with in our lives. Every single one of us, we are all aware that we are conscious, and we all struggle with this. Anubis is assertively choosing to be receptive to all the information, not just the information that he wants to be aware of. He's choosing to be aware of everything. That is an action. And it allows him to have all the information, not just pieces that set him up to make a decision basically as though someone else is choosing it for him. If he's only looking through his wounded filters, he's going to make the decision that he's used to making, which is that he's wounded, that he's traumatized, and it'll be passing that around. It'll be revisiting it on others and repeating the cycle. This is a pivotal moment for whomever this particular dynamic is resonating with, because you have the opportunity right now to see it all, and not through the lenses or the filters of your past, but through the truth, to really see the truth. And then you can make that decision fully informed and not from a biased perspective that was decided for you. Because most of the time in our lives, our wounds are not ones that we've inflicted upon ourselves. They're due to circumstances that we've had no control over. You have the opportunity right now to make decisions about your life and the individuals around you and what is going on in your life consciously, not from a state of, this is my trauma and my trauma controls my decisions. And if you really go a layer deeper, it's those that hurt you then, however many years ago, that are still controlling your decisions. You have the opportunity right now to take back those reins of control and make it about what you choose it to be, not about your past and what your past wants you to see. You want to see the truth. And you're taking that time in this moment, at this time, to really weigh that out and see it all. And that takes such strength because you're choosing to be receptive to the information. You don't know exactly what's going to be coming into your awareness. But you know that you're not alone. You know that you're protected. You know that you're capable of setting boundaries, and you know that you'll take that information into consideration. And when you feel you've looked at everything, then you'll pass judgment. And you'll pass judgment because you took the time to make sure you didn't miss anything, because you're judging someone else. Nobody likes to be judged. Nobody. And you know what it feels like. So if you're going to be making that judgment, you are choosing to know everything, because you'd want that person making that decision for you to want to know everything too. Even the things that you didn't know. You'd want them to be looking there. Anubis carries an incredible wisdom and a very deep and profound strength of love within him. And when you see this energy in someone around you, when you experience it for yourself, know that spiritually, energetically, you're making huge waves. That you're not in this position lightly. You've earned this moment, this time. You've been trusted with it. You've been supported into it. Your ancestors, your guardians, your guides. You're not alone. And what I'm clearly getting is thank you from all those who maybe have not had the courage to say thank you because they were too wounded. Thank you. Thank you for taking that time to be that thorough. It can be coming from their higher selves. There is gratitude for what you do. And the responsibility that you hold and respect. Thank you. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste.